When you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And
Put the kids to bed, put on your shades, and crack open a cold one during Sports Report After Dark with Seven and Dan the Dick Warner. You can catch After Dark Thursday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern on youtube.com/the Sports Report podcast, and again Saturday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern on West Coast Radio. We believe that athletes are people too, and Skip Bayless is one of the lizard people. Don't miss Sports Report After Dark. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of Sports Report After Dark. I am your host, Seven. With me is my partner in crime, Dan the Dick Warner. As we get started tonight, I want to give a special shout out to our sponsor, Gunslinger Soap. Gunslinger Soap is handmade soaps and beard products made without all of the junk to pamper your skin. You can go to their website, gunslingersoap.com, and sign up right now to get 15% off of your first order and always free shipping over $30. That's gunslingersoap.com. Definitely check it out. Get your orders in soon for Christmas for people that you think stink. Dan the Dick Warner with me. Our last episode of 2022. And I can't help but wonder, what do you think was the moment of the year? Not just for this show, but in the sports world in general. What do you think was a moment of the year, Dan?
Will Smith slapping Chris Rock. No, I'm just kidding. That was
Sports world. Sports world. I guess I'll clarify. Sports world.
Dude, I mean, Chris Rock was in fucking that one movie, that football movie with Adam Sandler. I mean, that's pretty close. And Will Smith has been like he was Ali. Okay, sorry. Yep. You're just going to put me on the spot with the moment of 2022? I mean,
yeah. Well, just because I wanted to get what was at the top of your brain. Like, what's the first thing sports related that comes to your mind from 2022?
Bro, I don't even know. Probably just this last World Series because it's most recent. You know what I'm saying? Like, this probably just this World Series.
What about the NBA Finals?
The ALCS. The NBA Finals did not. I mean, what? We get to watch Golden State win again? Wow, that was so crazy. Like, they haven't won before. Yeah. Like, yeah, they did. Yeah, I mean, we get to watch Steph Curry fucking, dominate an NBA Finals. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
That just wasn't that wasn't surprising to me. I guess neither was the Astros. Like, what? So I don't know, man. 2022 kind of sucked for sports. Let's be honest.
I don't know. The Brittany Griner story was definitely interesting.
Okay.
I think there are some that are going to argue that, but I don't know. Because I feel like that whole thing was the term that comes to mind is anticlimactic, but I don't want people to think I'm saying that in a negative term, because with everything that transpired, and then for her to come home getting traded for the Merchant of Death, Bill O'Brien-esque trade by the U.S. government.
Right.
That's the only thing that I can. I mean,
and there was like no
that's the biggest thing I can think of. Exactly, and that's and I think where the inkling to call it anticlimactic comes from, because it didn't really feel like there was any kind of a climactic moment. I mean, personally.
Right. Like that's what I'm saying. Like there really wasn't any surprises. You know what I'm saying? Like with the NBA, that wasn't really a surprise. I mean, yeah, it was a surprise because you get Golden State without KD doing it, but they did it before without
Right.
KD. You know what I'm saying? Like so
Yeah.
so that was the same team kind of. Get the Astros, who basically kind of the same team, minus Correa, and you got Jeremy Pena. But like championship wise, I mean, the Rams, that didn't fucking surprise anybody really. Like they're fucking loaded.
I mean, and that's the thing is I don't think anybody outside of Bengals fans and people who hate the Rams expected the Bengals to win that game.
Just talent wise, they were just overmatched.
Yeah. I mean, true. I mean, but I think it's interesting though about it is you look at how stacked that team was. You subtract Von Miller and add a hurt Matt Stafford, and they're one of the worst teams in the league.
A disaster.
Like just two players in difference on one side of the ball.
Dude, they're like the quintessential Super Bowl hangover. Like that is a Super Bowl hangover. Like being in LA too, dude. Like, you know, I mean, at that point they were just rocketed into movie stardom, and then their next like, couple movies are gonna suck, you know.
Is it really true to call that a Super Bowl hangover though? And that's my question with that, because it's not like we have the same team or close to the same team and they just weren't putting it down. Like the catalyst on each side of the ball. They also don't have OBJ, which he was injured. So even if he wasn't, even if he wasn't signed, he probably still wouldn't be playing at this point. Right. But the catalyst for the offense and the defense, both for that Super Bowl run, both gone. So for me, a Super Bowl hangover is like, you look at a team like the Ravens when they won with Trent Dilfer.
Who comes back full strength is what you're saying. Like who comes
back full strength. Most of that team was intact. They weren't plagued by injuries that next season, and they didn't get it done. That I could see being that's a Super Bowl hangover to me. But I don't know that I can call it that on the Rams, man.
What were the Ravens that season? That was 2000, right? They would have went. So 2001, the Patriots won it. Was it 2000 that Trent Dilfer won, or was it like 2004? Because there was a lot of Brady Super Bowls in the middle of that. A lot of Brady, a lot of Tom.
Yeah, so it was 2001. They did 10-6. They did 10-6 that year. And then they had and didn't have Dilfer in 2001. They had Gerbach.
Elvis Gerbach, yeah. Interesting. So there you go.
So I mean that's
still
but honestly that's kind of an upgrade. As much as I will respect Super Bowl winning quarterback Trent Dilfer.
Sorry.
Can't
say with a straight face.
I mean, but we had to. Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl. As much as I can respect Trent Dilfer for doing his job and getting that Super Bowl, I think that the transition from Dilfer to Gerbach was an upgrade.
Yeah, well, talent-wise, it definitely was. I mean,
and that's what I mean. Like results-wise, I'm not sure where the numbers went for him that year, but for me, I that is easier to justify as a Super Bowl hangover than what happened to the Rams, at least for me.
Mostly because you have Stafford going down. I mean, Stafford going down was a huge deal. So, hey, by the way, saying Trent Dilfer Super Bowl champion is like saying the ugly supermodel. It's kind of just it's a little bit of a paradox there. He knows the game. I mean, he's way better as an analyst than he ever was as a quarterback. I'll tell you that much.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Should be
kind of like Hasselbeck. I like watching Hasselbeck when he gets going He does really know the game. He does the research. He knows what he wants to say. And I respect the hell out of him for it. Much better analyst than quarterback. Romo, better analyst than quarterback.
But better quarterback than both of those guys. Never got
absolutely hands down. Yeah, hands down.
Not a bad quarterback at all, really. I mean, for a while there, Romo was he was putting up 4,000-yard seasons at the beginning of that wave where all those guys were putting up 4,000-yard seasons, like 30, the 30 touchdown range. He was one of those dudes doing it. I mean, the guy had talent. He just he got a reputation for choking a little bit. There was the hold in the NFC Championship game where he's starting or whatever. He's on the hold. He fucking fumbles the hold and tries to get in. There's that, and then just him choking away. But everyone thinks the Cowboys choke away everything anyway. So like, if you're their quarterback, you're not getting any credit unless you go to the Super Bowl. The only way for Dak Prescott to shut anybody up is if he wins the Super Bowl, because everybody hates the Cowboys so much that
it's the Patriots of the South. People just love to hate the Cowboys. And now, to the haters' credits, the Cowboys call themselves America's team, but they haven't done more than lose in the playoffs since they won their last Super Bowl. And so I can get that to a point, but the Cowboys are like they're the Yankees of the NFL. Like it's the iconic team of the sport.
Let's pump the brakes on that a little bit. Just watch yourself, all right? You're getting into
Come on, let's be honest.
2009 was the last time we won a title, though. Cowboys won fucking 25 years ago. They're the Nebraska Cornhuskers of the NFL. That's the best comparison you can possibly make.
No, because people forget the Cornhuskers exist, but the Cowboys aren't going anywhere.
Oh, they haven't forgotten, Tony. Everyone knows where the Cornhuskers play. They still know where Lincoln's at, baby. No, but they like that. That is, I was just talking shit about Florida before this. I said last time we played Florida in a national title game, didn't go too well. 25 years ago. You know how ridiculous that is to be talking about something that happened 25 years ago? 62-24, by the way. 62-24.
Gee, God, I couldn't remember the score. It was that
in a
bad?
national title game. Yeah, we rolled them.
Damn.
You know who it was? Sorry. Yeah, it was 95. It was Tommy Frazier. It was Frazier and Brooks Behringer. We had two quarterbacks. One of them started, and Tommy Frazier played the last three quarters and just went absolutely bonkers. He had like 200 yards rushing, went nuts, had like a 70-yard touchdown that's famous. He broke a couple tackles. And then he went on to coach Doane College in Crete, Nebraska, and recruited a guy named Daniel Dick Werner, and was his coach for about 3 weeks until he got canned. So not great for Tommy Frazier after that, He's in Falls City, Nebraska, scouting a dude. He's like, oh, Jesus, it's really what my life has become.
So he scouted you?
Drinking. Yeah, that's who I went to Dome because of Tommy Frazier. Like yeah. And then he got fired like 3 weeks into me being there. Yeah. I went to like off-season conditioning with Tommy Frazier as my coach. And one of the days he came in there just hammered drunk, and he was just yelling at everybody. Like he was just walking around just yelling at people. And he was like an hour late to his own practice. He knew he was gonna get canned at that point. So he just fucking, and he was like fucking college. Tommy, I love you, buddy. I really did like him, but like he was like fucking college chicks, I think. I don't really know what's going on, but he was not in a good spot, I don't think. So yeah.
Unhappy that he didn't make it to the NFL.
Yeah. Yes. Ruined. Like, oh, when I was at Nebraska. Yeah. Like he never said that to me because he was actually really cool and really laid back guy. But like I just don't think he cared. I think he was at a level and he knew he was never going to get back to that level. And so it was just like a steady decline until he's like sober now and shit though. He looks great. He's fat.
Good for him.
Yeah, he's fat, but like I think he was drinking a lot then too and stuff. So it's not a good thing.
And that's the thing though, is a lot of times you see some people come down from binges like that and just come down from, addiction, which is a very real thing and a very difficult piece, one of those things that we talk about here. But that's, the weight gain like that, because, and my theory behind it is when, especially when you get on the binges like that, you eat a lot less. and your body, so so when that happens, and this is also one of the reasons why people with eating disorders tend to gain more weight than people without them, is because once they go back to eating like they're supposed to, their body stores fat more aggressively because they're worried they may not get the opportunity and that they're going to need it.
Yeah.
And so it kind of, the unfortunate thing is situations like that end up ruining a metabolism instead of being anything good for the body, which, I mean, obviously eat like you're supposed to. And if you're struggling with an eating disorder, please get help. The people around you want you to get help. We care about you. Nobody should have to suffer through that. And really quick, I did also want to mention, before we dive into the main topics for tonight, saw yesterday DJ Twitch was the DJ for the Ellen DeGeneres show, among various other things that he did. Took his life at age, I believe it was 49.
Wow.
Get help if you need it, people, please. If you dial 988 from any phone in the United States, you will be connected with a crisis counselor, a crisis line that will help you in the immediate sense, and also help you with resources and finding help in your area, so that you can get your mental health back on track. And it's not a weakness to get help. It actually shows that you care. It shows that you care about yourself and that you want to not feel the pain you feel anymore. Suicide's not the answer. It just leaves the pain for other people.
Yeah. That's the ironic thing about it too, is like people think that it's like weakness to talk about your feelings and stuff. It's actually the opposite. Like, you would think it actually is hard to do that kind of stuff, to open up and things like that. Like, it's actually really hard to do. Clearly. I mean, I think anybody knows that. Like, it's harder to do that than just like, let's just keep it in. We don't have any problems. Like, everybody knows that everybody has problems. Like, it's not a fucking secret. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, I just don't, I think it's actually a strength to like be able to talk about stuff.
It is. And I will say, it shocked me at first. Like, when I got to the point where I was able to start talking about my stuff and everything that I've gone through, with what we do here and First Generation Dad and that 30 Reasons to Live, all that stuff that I've done, talking about my mental health. There's always people like, hey, it's great that you're talking about this. You're so brave. And it's like, I don't think about it as being brave. With ADHD, I have this compulsion when I know something, I want to share it, because it almost like just forces its way out of me. And so for me, when I get into those situations where I have the opportunity to share something that I know, it just flies out of me. Like, there are people that think that I'm a know-it-all because I of the frequency at which I do that. Well, it's simply because, people think I'm not paying attention. I am paying attention. I absorb everything around me. And so these things just spill out when they come up. And sometimes I don't even realize that I knew something until it just comes out. I'm like, oh, okay. So allow yourself the freedom, whether it's, it doesn't have to be in public like me. Like I said, I have ADHD, so I'm predisposed, learn how to say that word one day, predisposed to just not shut the fuck up. That's why I got into podcasting, because maybe one day it can make me some money. But you don't have to share it with everybody. If you're struggling, share it with somebody, because they want to care. The therapists are not out to get you. They're not going to share it with anybody. They can't. And if they do, you can sue them for so much money, you won't have to worry about a goddamn thing anyway.
And honestly,
go to therapy if you need it. Seriously.
Yeah, what they don't care about is sharing what you're saying with other people. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't actually care. Like, why would they go tell like somebody that they, and why is that even a big deal? It's not like they're going like, oh, hey, Tony Gladstone. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't care about telling your shit to other people. I don't think. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no motivation for them to do that.
I have friends that have worked in that field, and if we're talking about different things, because like I will ask them, like, especially with what I do in advocating, I ask them about stuff. And so if they're going to tell me a story of something similar that came from a patient, the only thing that I will hear is I had a patient who, and I get general information.
Right.
There could be people that have therapist that I know that their therapist is the person that I know, and I wouldn't have any idea. So
Yeah.
paranoia is something that people with mental health issues like me struggle with, and I understand that. But I'm telling you, as somebody that's been in those deep pits, get help. It's worth it. The way that you will be on the other side is so much happier, and it doesn't make the problems go away, but it's going to teach you how to process them in a more healthy way, and that's the important skill. Because the one thing that I think we all forget when we're struggling with mental health is we all fucking have problems. That's why Dan and I know this. We both have problems, and that's why when we do the show, we sit down and we look at these things and we're objective. When we were talking about the Deshaun Watson case, we didn't just throw him under the bus. We looked at it objectively. We saw there were things that people were doing around him that not only enabled the behavior, but the fact that they were utilizing unlicensed massage therapists. What do you expect they think is going to happen?
Yeah.
Like, there was some shady shit with that. Granted, he's a predator.
Yeah.
But he was not the only problem in that scenario.
But main idea was trying to figure it out.
Yeah, just trying to understand, because having that was a great episode, because Martha was sitting there with us, and she provided some fantastic insight. For those of you that don't know, my partner, my wife for all intents and purposes, my partner Amber, we call her Martha.
It's Martha.
It's Martha. Martha used to work as a massage therapist and worked on NFL players, which still blows me away. Still blows me away.
I bet you don't
never
massage as you're supposed to, huh?
Yeah, no, I don't even get happy ending massages from her. Sure as hell I could be an NFL player.
You just buy a Deshaun Watson jersey and you're just like, hey, you know what we're doing.
Babe. Hey babe, let's role play.
Let's role play. She'd be like, you don't look anything like Deshaun Watson. We're like,
I'm gonna be an aggressive black Louis C.K. and you're gonna be my massage therapist. Okay. So I was thinking about showing the clip. The first thing we're gonna talk about tonight is there is Skip and Shannon. Of course, there's two debates. If you watch Undisputed for any length of time, you are going to understand that there are two debates that are never ending, and they will spend Twitch was 40. I apologize. Thank you, Erica, our producer, for helping me on that. Twitch was 40. But there are two debates on Undisputed that are never ending and happen at a frequency that is honestly just fucking annoying. The first one is, LeBron Jordan. But I think that at this point, that debate is just going to rage on among basketball circles until the end of time.
It is.
There will have been players that have come along that are better than LeBron and Jordan, and people will still be debating LeBron and Jordan.
It's going to get fucking weird. When
but
he's
the
done,
other debate is
really good.
Tom Brady, and is Tom Brady done? This is something that they've been arguing about since day one of that show. Like, just hands down, it's always been there. So I was going to show the clip, but we don't want to get in trouble. YouTube's being a pain in the ass about fair use. So we're going to talk about it, though. And you can find it online. Skip and Shannon get heated debate about Tom Brady. And Skip Bayless had the testicular fortitude. He's an older gentleman, so I use the distinguished term. He had the testicular fortitude to say that Shannon Sharp was jealous of Tom Brady because Brady is still in the league and he's been out of it for a while and he's now in the Hall of Fame. I know that Will shared that clip in the sports, like in our group chat.
Yeah.
What did you think of it? I want to get your take on this.
Dude, Shannon. Okay, so Shannon showed an incredible. Actually, he yells at him in a whatever, but like, they had to have had a conversation off screen about that, right? I mean, because they were totally serious, and it's that just shows you Skip Bayless is like, obviously the guy's a fucking kind of a genius, because obviously that talk show type role is like his brainchild, right?
Right.
But Skip clearly has a lot of delusions. He's delusional. He's delusional. He has a lot of delusions about several things, including the fact that why do you sit there like and say, like, at one point he's going Shannon's basically saying to him, like, or he says to Shannon, he's like, Shannon, well, you didn't win 6 Super Bowls or something like that. And Shannon's like, she's like, Skip, you didn't even fucking play. That's basically what he says to me. Like, you didn't even play. And like, I'm like, what? Like, how do you like justify, like, why are you defending Tom Brady? So like, I get it. He's the GOAT of being quarterback in the NFL. Like, I get it. But like, you are like, Skip, you're taking it to a level like where like Shannon's your friend, bro. Like, why are you bringing him into it, for one? Like, why is Shannon being brought into this conversation? There's nothing, like, we're not talking about GOAT tight ends. We're talking about GOAT players, for one. And like he's like bringing Shannon's name up and shit. Like that's like you said, that's some balls. Like that's like, he's got some balls on him if he's going to fucking be doing that shit.
Here's my thing. And first of all, like the shots at Shannon were just completely uncalled for.
They're so unnecessary.
They're completely unnecessary. And the thing that frustrates me about Skip Bayless, and I'm going to say it like this, like we joke Skip Bayless is one of the lizard people. I'm not entirely convinced that's not true. But, you know, the truth of the matter is when you look at modern day sports talk, you will not, the way that things exist, especially with the debate format, it does not exist without what Skip Bayless did in the late 90s and early 2000s.
70. Do you think
it does not exist?
Do you think that like Skip pigeonholing himself? Because like Skip is like, I don't want to bring it political, but I want to like make a comparison politically. Like Skip is like the far right. He's like the far right guy, right? He's like the guy who's in the far right, who's got like these very like strong views about things, and he doesn't really change them ever, regardless of what people tell him.
But either end of the spectrum, really, on that, because like I think like far left or far right, they're just so staunchly held in their beliefs. They're not seeing the trees because they're seeing the forest. You know, Skip's problem, like, and he does this with Tom Brady, he does this with Baker Mayfield as well. He's so focused on what used to happen, and the Cowboys. I honestly, I think that what's crazy is I think that Skip is more objective about the Cowboys than he is about Baker Mayfield or Tom Brady.
Right.
Because like Shannon, in this discussion that they were talking about, Shannon is just pointing out Tom Brady has not had a good year. And yes, it may be better than some other quarterbacks, but when we look at guys like Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, LeBron James, we have to hold them to their own standard. You cannot, because like LeBron is averaging 25 points a game at 39 years old. What 39-year-old basketball player professionally?
He's 37.
I'm sorry, 37-year-old basketball player professionally averaged 25 points a game.
I don't know if anybody ever has. Outside of possibly Kareem. Possibly Kareem, but I don't think Kareem was that high. Kareem is definitely not averaging fucking 25, 8, and 8. I guarantee he wasn't doing that. And I guarantee he wasn't windmilling it from fucking 3 blocks up. You can't judge LeBron and you can't judge anybody else. You can't judge LeBron against anybody else because there's nobody that compares to what he's doing. And yes, there is nobody that compares to what Tom Brady is doing. So when we look at Tom Brady, what do we compare it to? Himself. And this year, albeit 45 years of age, Tom Brady is not playing up to the standard that Tom Brady established for himself. Right.
Baker Mayfield, what he did going into LA last week, taking over after one series and leading that team to a victory, was absolutely stellar.
We were on this show when that happened.
We were on the show. We had to go back and watch that 98-yard touchdown drive on video because we didn't get to see it live. What he did was stellar. But Skip Bayless is so wrapped up around what he did that he won't accept the bigger picture is that Baker Mayfield's first 5 years in the NFL have not gone very well. And he will start throwing out excuses and this and that. But the ultimate truth is Baker Mayfield did not play well in this first 5 years. Does he have talent? Absolutely. Is it possible that if he gets in the right system, we see the Baker Mayfield that Skip Bayless says exists? Of course. Look at how well he's gotten on with Sean McVay already. The smartest possible thing that Baker Mayfield can do is get them to sign him as a backup and sit behind Stafford until he retires and then take over. That's how Baker Mayfield saves his career, because I think Sean McVay is the perfect situation for him.
It is,
but
and yeah.
Go ahead.
And Baker can't. Here's the thing: Baker needs to have his back to the wall and be down and have people doubt him, or like there's no Baker Mayfield. Like he loves the chip on the shoulder thing, and like if people, because I feel like the only way that he makes plays in the NFL is because people underestimate him. So like they just go, yeah, there's no way that he's that fast, and they just go, oh, okay, oh shit, he is that fast. Like, or he can't make that throw. And like, oh shit, he really can. What happens when people think that Baker Mayfield can make that throw? They start playing him differently, and then he's not as good because he can't just over talent people. So like he plays the best when he's down and when people underestimate him. If he goes into a season with Los Angeles Rams, say Stafford doesn't come back next year and they have all that talent, he goes into a season with the Los Angeles Rams as people picking them to go to the Super Bowl, that motherfucker will stink up the joint. He will absolutely stink up the joint because there's expectations on him. And when Baker gets expectations and people start playing him like he's a really good NFL quarterback, he doesn't succeed because he's not a really good NFL quarterback.
Okay, we're going to circle back to this debate because I want to finish what we talked about, but then we're going to go back to this Baker Mayfield thing because I disagree, but I want to talk about it. Okay. So, but when we look at with this discussion between, Skip and Shannon on Brady, Shannon is just objectively pointing out Brady has not been up to his standard this year, which is, you can look at the numbers, absolutely 100% correct.
Yes.
But Skip Bayless has dug his feet in and will not accept the criticism of Brady on a regular basis. Like, there are times he will get objected. Like, even when they were arguing in the heated exchange, he said that Brady had a bad game. And this was in reference to the first game that Brock Purdy started for the 49ers. It was the Bucs and 49ers game, which Brock Purdy, stellar, was watching Thursday Night Football tonight. Oh, God. As the spokesperson for the Brock Purdy fan club, or as I like to call myself, the Purdy Mouth. Big fan of what that kid's doing. I hope he does great things in football. Genuinely, I do.
Skip strangleholds his beliefs really hardcore. Like he strangleholds beliefs.
He does.
Can't fucking know. That's because what I believe, and no matter what anybody tells me, it's going to be the same thing. Like that's why, yeah. And strangleholds beliefs.
And he does, and I think that's one of the things that makes him so watchable and drives up those views and that engagement on the FS1 and Undisputed pages is everybody's arguing over what Skip says. And, he's definitely one of those people love to hate. But is there a point where these things go too far? Like, or is it just ultimately good TV?
Yes. I mean, it's entertainment at this point for sure, because that's what Skip does. That's what people don't like him too, is because like that, when he strangleholds his beliefs, he's literally like, if you can't convince somebody that something is true, like if you see something that happens, everybody sees it happen the same way, but one person says that that it didn't happen that way, and you can't convince them any different, it becomes frustrating. And you want to convince that person that this is right? That this thing is right. And if you just deny against that,
to it, yeah.
Right. If you just like deny it and you become like that guy, like Skip Bayless has, just strangleholding all of his beliefs, and no matter what the evidence may be towards that, towards him being wrong, he still thinks he's right, and like people want to prove him wrong, and that's like his entire approach to talk radio, like his entire approach to talk sports is like, I know he does it on purpose though. He's not dumb. Like he obviously
and that's the thing. He does, and it's like
it's on purpose.
You know, I think Skip Bayless is a perfect metaphor for how we need to look at life. You can be wrong so goddamn often and still be successful.
Yeah.
You know,
do what you're bad at and succeed.
You have to fail to succeed. And Skip Bayless fails at being objective and fails at being open to views as far as the TV persona that we see, because ultimately it is a TV show. It is made for entertainment purposes. And the end result is engagement. And that's what drives money today for the entertainment sector, is engagement. It's not just about TV show ratings anymore, because with so many cord cutters and so many people that stream and access things through other methods that maybe you can't even track, engagement is how you determine the identity, the density of a brand and how good it is, at least from an advertising standpoint. And
quality
so
almost becomes secondary. Quality almost becomes secondary to engagement, because you're playing on certain things that make people want to watch stuff. You're playing on like a certain human weakness, really.
Yeah, like, and that's what it is it's playing on human behavior, because if you look at Undisputed, they talk about the Lakers, the Cowboys, Brady and LeBron. Those are the four most those four things are most commonly the topics on Undisputed, with something related to Baker Mayfield being number 5. As of within the last few years, that's been, in my experience, the 5th most popular topic. But like, obviously, there are multiple better teams in the NFL than the Dallas Cowboys. There are better basketball teams than what we're getting from the Lakers and LeBron right now.
Yes.
But the only time other teams come up, a majority of the time, unless it's just a super viral big story, the only time those other teams come up is if it's because they were playing the Cowboys or the Lakers.
You're saying particularly Rams. On Undisputed.
On Undisputed.
Yeah,
and
cover
so
a lot of that, yeah.
But what it is if you notice, the bigger your organization's fan base, the more common that you are discussed on Undisputed. And like and when we look at First Things First with Nick Wright, the only reason that the Chiefs are commonly talked about on Sports Talk is because of Nick Wright. And that's frustrating to say as a Chiefs fan, because he's kind of a nutsack. Like he is to the Chiefs what's like, he knows his shit. Like, don't get me wrong. Yeah. Like, even though he looks like a hipster Beatle now with his long ass hair, he knows his shit. But he does with the Chiefs what Skip Bayless does with the Cowboys. And I think that for Nick, he has figured out that is what drives attention, because he is loyal to Patrick Mahomes to a fault.
Yeah.
And that's that persona. It's like he is the younger 2.0 Chiefs fan Skip Bayless.
Well, I mean, where that loyalty shit started at, right? With Nick, right? Was definitely LeBron. Because
it was definitely LeBron.
He's one of the only, like, outside of Shannon Sharp. So you can say a lot of that stuff actually came, I think, from Nick Wright, with Shannon Sharp being one of the only proponents for LeBron James being the GOAT, right? That's Nick Wright and Shannon Sharp are like the only two on national TV that even say that. They're the only two that'll even say it. So like they have a lot of similarities, but yeah, anyway.
And that's the thing, is it's like, but that that commitment to it.
Yeah.
Like it's
No matter what.
that no matter what. And I just, maybe that's why I'm not as famous as Nick Wright or Skip Bayless, is
Because we try and be objective.
Because we try and be objective. Like we're fans. Like you're a Yankees fan and I'm a Red Sox fan, but both of us can say good things about the other's team
and bad things about our own team.
And bad things about our own teams. Like,
yeah, this is fucking stupid.
Like the Yankees signed Carlos Rodon today to a 6-year deal. It was a good signing. I know for a fact, not just because of that, but also because of losing Xander Bogaerts last week to the Padres, that we, as Red Sox Nation, are fucked. And I can say that. I'm not going to blindly act like, Chris Sale is the most reliable pitcher in baseball. No, Chris Sale's going to get us to the World Series.
Right.
Last year, Chris Sale was going to get us to the World Series. Those 2 games he played were crucial. He lost.
Dude, that's so funny. That's so funny that you said that, though. That's so funny that you said that, because I was about to be like, do we just need to start just being fucking ridiculous about all of it? Like, we just need to start being ridiculous as fuck. Like, I'm just going to sit here and just say that LeBron right now, he's going to come back and they're going to fucking win an NBA Finals. They're going to win an NBA Finals because this and this and this is why. And like, do we need to stop looking at things objectively and like having a good show? Does that mean that we have the greatest show? Like that like our viewership being in the low numbers actually might mean that we have the fucking greatest show that's ever fucking
because
existed.
we're legitimately objective.
Yes, because like people that are smart would think that you're having like a good show. Like they're like, oh yeah, this is actually really good. Like they're actually like being objective and shit. But like the masses aren't in general that smart. So they
no.
So
but it's like, does this mean I have to be like Heim Bloom is the Brett Beach of Major League Baseball? Sorry, I couldn't even say it. Oh God, it left a bad taste in my mouth. Hold on. I need to drink some bourbon to get the taste. I tried, man. I see. This is why I can't do what they do, because I
know.
Like, I can only spew so much bullshit, and like I spend enough time spending that energy on my wife. Like, I can't do it on a podcast too. Like, it's just too difficult.
Comes down to like integrity and moral ambiguity. So like, if we could like somehow like shift our moral ambiguity to just be like 100%, and then just like all of our integrity just be at the bottom, I think that we have a famous show. Like, we have to sell the fuck out is basically what I'm saying. Like, we would have to sell, which I'm fine with. If you just want to start doing that, I don't know if I can lie for that much over the fucking. I don't know if I can lie that much. Like, just all the time. Because they're lying. I feel like Skip Bayless is selling us a fucking bill of lies.
Because like Skip Bayless will sit there like, and this was, and coincidentally enough, the way that Skip Bayless acts about Patrick Mahomes, I think is key to me on how much of an act what we see is.
Yeah.
And the reason that I say that is because, like, yes, the Chiefs as a team don't get a lot of coverage, but Patrick Mahomes gets a lot of coverage on the poppy sports stuff.
Yeah.
So, but when Patrick Mahomes comes up as a subject, Skip doesn't think he's that great. He will put Josh Allen and Joe Burrow above Mahomes without hesitation. And I'm sorry, but the worst comparison should be that they are equal. And I will entertain that, especially when you look at Burrow is Mahomes' boogeyman right now. Like, it is what it is. Like, I can't deny that. Again, here's me being objective. Fuck Joe Burrow. Is that
yeah, that's
is that what I should say? Joe Burrow sucks. Yeah. He doesn't know how to connect a pass. LSU is a bad school. Am I getting better? I don't know.
No, you're not. It doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound right. Well, and
I can't.
Don't you think that the LeBron MJ conversation is like the perfect like personification of exactly what we're talking about? Because I know that I say like I actually believe that LeBron is the GOAT of the NBA. Like, I actually believe that. And but it's obviously not the popular like that. Obviously, most people are definitely on the MJ train on that. Like, I would say it's what? I'd say it's what, like 90-10. Like, it's quite a bit.
Yeah,
like,
it
it's
is.
quite a bit of like it's quite a bit. But that's actually why it's intriguing, is because we can actually make legitimate points at why we think LeBron is the GOAT, right? But everybody else just kind of agrees that it's MJ. So I think that's exactly what we're talking about as far as like, just kind of trying to test the what's already agreed. Because if we sat here and just sucked fucking Patrick Mahomes' wiener for which we sometimes do.
I mean,
for like a long periods of time, it's probably boring because everybody knows that Patrick Mahomes is fucking great. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's the majority. Like, anybody asks you like, who's the greatest quarterback in the NFL right now? Most people are probably going to say Patrick Mahomes. And like, us just reinstating the truth, or like what is the closest thing to the truth, is not exciting. And that's why these guys do that. You know, Skip has figured that out.
Yeah,
honestly.
And I think that's the thing is he creates controversy just in and of itself by just not being objective. You know, there's so many people that when they think of sports analysts, they expect someone to be objective. And the way that he expanded the format is he's not objective.
Yeah. Was by being a fucking like just a disagreeable piece of shit most of the time, basically. Like, yeah, and like everybody like loved to hate him.
Skip is that person, like, you know, we used the comparison earlier of somebody that's on, you know, the far left or far right of the political spectrum and refuse to listen to reason, like most of us do.
Yeah,
you know, he's so stuck at that
polarizing
point, you know, that you want to, because like most people in political discussions are relatively moderate in my experience. Like, most people are willing to understand both sides of the argument, but they've decided they're on this side because.
Yeah.
And that's civil discourse. But then you have people on the far left and far right where you can't tell them that banning all guns isn't going to solve the issues that we have in relation to gun crime in the United States. They don't want to hear that. But on the other side, the people on the far right, they don't want to hear that there are common sense choices that we can make to possibly improve the situation, or they're at least reasonable to attempt.
Right.
You know, they don't want to hear compromise. They want that far side feet dug in. And that's what Skip Bayless portrays on Sports Talk. But is there a line? With that, we're going to move on to our other topics here before we wrap up for the night. But ultimately, like, that's my question. Is there a line where it becomes too much?
Yes. And I think that when you're clearly pissing Shannon Sharpe off to the point where,
when those glasses came off, I thought he was going to come across the table.
Yeah. And he's not, he would never do that because he cares about his career. But at the same time, like, I would love to see the off-screen shit between him and Skip, for real, because I think that they probably had some kind of talk about that after the thing,
or before. Like, I get what you're saying, though. I would be interested to know how deep it goes as far as the act that we get. Like, did Shannon know before the episode that Skip was getting ready to take a complete shot at him, despite the fact that he is a very well-deserved and well-deserved Hall of Fame player and well-decorated player in the NFL, and just completely take a shot at that over blindly obsessing over the greatness of Tom Brady?
And did Shannon go, "Hey, that's good TV right there," after they were done? You know what I'm saying? Like, did he
exactly?
Like, he could have. I don't think that he did. I think that Shannon has a line, and I think that's exactly where the line is. If you're asking, is like, I think if Shannon has a line personally while they're on the show, he quits thinking about what the ratings are going to do. That's the line. You found the line, because I think Shannon's totally for the fucking ratings being high and totally for him being a fucking pompous asshole the whole time. But like, but when he starts to feel personally attacked by it, I think Shannon has a line, and I think that line was crossed, and there would be the line for you, I guess. And if he starts feeling, and
that's kind of where I'm at with it. I'm with you on that. That's kind of where I'm at with that. And but not just like as a person, like for what Shannon has to experience. But I'm talking about like as consumers, is there a line where they're just pushing it too far for what we consume and what we want to see? Because like, yeah, we want to see debate and discussion. We want to be educated on both sides so we can formulate our own opinion. I think that's intelligent and healthy to seek out an encounter. But at the same time, how much is too much of that? And is it, for the person, because it can almost like, and I mean, in like, not just for those of us with anxiety where that shit makes us really uncomfortable, but also like for just the average consumer that's just trying to get educated, how much is too much?
How much is too much, and how much disinformation are they getting? And how much, and when do we start thinking that that's okay to do? Like to just dig in your heels in, out, like just disregard all of the factual evidence and just think that you're right because you want to be right about something. Like it just makes it okay to people to be like, oh well, yeah, I can be like Skip Bayless and just think the fucking Cowboys are the best that's ever, even though they haven't actually done anything. Like I can still think that, and like that, I think that leads into other thoughts being the same way. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I can just think this because
it becomes a learned behavior. I think you're right. No, it becomes a learned behavior.
Yeah. Like if that guy's like that, I can be like that too. It's like, no, that's not.
Yeah.
Damn it.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next thing I want to talk about is, and this is something we kind of touched on it last week, but I really want to spend a minute on this week and actually discuss it. With Xander being signed by the Padres, there's been a lot of these discussions about small market teams. This isn't just about baseball. This is about professional sports in general. I'm of the opinion that there's no such thing as a small market team. What do you think?
There's no such thing as a small market team. I think there's such things as medium market teams.
That's fair.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think any team is like usually the small market teams tend to have more committed fan bases, which is crazy because they literally feel like it's
except for the A's.
It's them against the world. Yes, them against the world. Except for the fucking Oakland A's. Dude's getting sucked off in a crowd and shit. Dude's getting sucked.
That was the most action that's happened in that ballpark in years. Let him enjoy it. That was a live shot of the only happy Oakland A's fan.
The only one, and the only one with just a clearly just a loving woman by his side, just a loving woman who just wanted to give him head in the 48th row of Section A, 47 seat. But but they tend to have more. They tend to have more fucking more committed fans, and that's only because like those fans just feel like that it's them against the world because there's not as many people in the town to be, like Green Bay. Like Green Bay's pretty small market, dude. They're also fucking publicly owned. So like that's why their fans are fucking, like their fans actually own part of the company. Most of their fans actually own part of the fucking they actually own them.
And that's interesting to me. How Green Bay does it where it's the team is owned by the city, but it's like you can buy shares. But like what does that really get you?
Nothing.
That's my question on that. What does that really get you other than a certificate that you gave the Green Bay Packers more of your money than you normally do?
Than you normally would. And
like, do you get to show up to a shareholder meeting?
No.
And look the coach in the face and say, "You fucking idiot! Why did you do this on 3rd and 5?"
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Yeah, the board meeting would be the size of like St. Peter's Basilica, just packed up.
Exactly.
Like it'd be like, hey, we're all gonna make everybody yay or nay, and it'd just be like yay or this fucking.
As this is our transitional topic before we wrap up for the evening, because we got one more. Stop giving teams credit and calling them small market. There is not a professional sports team owner in baseball, basketball, or the NFL that is worth less than $1 billion.
If you look,
they have the money.
Yeah, and if you look, the only reason that baseball's much more prominent with small big market because baseball owners can actually make their own salary cap. There really isn't. There's taxes for going over a certain amount, but there isn't an actual salary cap. In every other sport, there's a
Right.
salary cap in which they can only spend so much, and every team has up to that amount to spend, and that's it. You can't just go over it. In baseball, you can fucking spend whatever you want. If you're the owner, you can fucking literally just like look at the New York Mets. Look at the San Diego Padres, who offered a $200 million shortstop $285 million and stole him away from another team. I don't like they straight stole him from like you have to be mad at the Padres at that point, dude. Because like nobody was gonna give Xander Bogaerts that much money, bro. And yes, they should have wrapped it up with Xander before that. They should have. I agree with you on that. And like shouldn't have been like a thing where they just stole him. Nobody should be able to steal Xander Bogaerts from you. Right? That's what you're saying.
And that's why I'm critical of John Henry and Heimdall. And in my understanding, because I follow a lot of people that are very ingrained in the Red Sox on Twitter. And for those of you that don't know, like the sports part of Twitter is actually fine. Like it's the political side that's a fucking like a monkey trying to fuck a coconut. The sports part of Twitter is legit. But like there's people that give away trading cards and jerseys. Like it just happens. I've gotten trading cards from one of those the ones that gives away trading cards. I've also gotten a lot of trading cards from Dan and Nick Warner because he's a really good friend. But I won't say that.
Thanks, man.
Anyway,
hey, I stepped it up. I stepped it up on this next shipment I'm about to send you.
Bro, I can't wait.
A whole level.
I can't wait.
Like I was like, all right, Tony doesn't get the fucking what did I call him at first? I was like, hey Tony, I sent you one of the economy packs. I called them economy packs. I was like, yeah, I call these economy packs. I sell them online, and they're just like it's a bunch of shit cards that I just sell. It's like,
but that's the thing is like, it was a lot of Trevor Story cards, but like, I mean, ultimately not that bad.
I mean, they were nice still. Like they're like
cool looking cards.
I'm gonna step. I stepped it up this next time. I got you scared to be like, what the fuck is going on right now?
And where are we at on these Jordans? Like that's my ultimate question because I'm legitimately intrigued by that now and kind of excited.
Oh, dude, yeah, you're getting them. Yeah, you're getting them for sure. Cool. I don't know which. I've been looking at different. I don't know which ones I'm gonna get yet. I'll probably go with. You might just get the classics. You might get the ones, which I think might be the best route. But I don't know. I'm probably gonna surprise you. It might be like the fucking. You said I can go LeBron or Jordans, right? Because they're the same thing. Like quality wise, they're the same fucking thing, dude. They're gonna
absolutely.
They're gonna feel great on your feet regardless.
I'll even just because they're probably on sale now. If there's some Kyries that have that are good for wide foot, I'll even throw those in on it too. Like
it's made with Jordan Nike brand. But I'm definitely gonna keep it with Jordan and LeBron because Jordan and LeBron's have easily the best ones, and they're fucking like Jordan makes better shoes. He wasn't a better basketball player, but he makes better shoes for sure. He's also had more time to do it, and they, whatever.
He actually, because that thing that before we transition to our final topic, I saw an interview where he said that he couldn't actually coach, and it was because, the reason was because what we talked about. He's so good that when he says, "Hey, just do this," and it doesn't go exactly how he would do it, he doesn't understand. Like he actually said that, which I think is fantastic.
Boils down to anger. It boils down to him just being mad. And like D. Ross sat here and said the same thing to us. Mm-hmm. He was like, I don't think that I'd be able to just sit back and go. And he was talking about coaching running backs. And he was like, because I could do this thing, and I don't think that they could do the same thing. Like, I was like, that totally makes sense. And he had never seen our conversations about that before. Like he wasn't pandering or anything. He didn't know that, and he like totally was said exactly what we basically say.
And for those of you that don't know, our buddy Derek Ross, he did spend a year with the Chiefs. He was in NFL Europe and in CFL for a little while. But when it came to the Arena Football League, he was the greatest running back that the Arena Football League has ever seen. And that is a legitimate achievement. That
Absolutely.
Is a legitimate achievement.
He's better than most running backs.
Yeah, that's still better than
most running backs. Yeah. Like that's the thing. Like he's probably better than a lot of running backs that play in the NFL right now. So like he would not be able to. I don't know if you could.
Did you see that he went viral?
Like the majority of them. With what?
Yeah, he was on a trip, I think, because he started working. I think as a player agent and an NIL agent or something like that. And he was traveling, and somebody was playing piano, and he sat and sang with him.
Really?
And, he's a legit singer. Like, I'll see if I can. I'll find the video again because I watched it. I'll find the video again. I'll send it to you. It was
That's interesting because I know he raps, and then you can tell by his voice though that he can sing.
Yeah, he's got.
Is that weird? Like you can tell by people's voices.
He's got good tonality with the way that he talks, and it's on the lower end vocally. That you would expect
for a guy his size.
But no, when he sings though, he's actually higher.
That's what I was saying. Like I don't think for like a guy his size, his voice is that low though. Like he's a big dude.
Like when he's speaking, tonality is lower, and it almost you expect him to sing lower, but he doesn't. Like he sings higher.
Oh yeah.
But okay. So last thing, and this kind of threw me for a loop, and you and Erica, I know our producer Erica, if you're sitting in the back there, you can join in on this topic because I want to talk about this. So Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker has been named the next president of the NCAA. And my question is, as somebody like I don't watch college sports as much as you guys do, and that's why I wanted to tee you guys up with this for our wrap up topic tonight. Why is the governor of a state the head of the governing body of college sports? Dan, I'll let you start on it, and then Erica, you can go. Why? That seems like a kind of important enough job that you need somebody that's there full time.
Yeah, I mean, I actually brought Erica into the conversation. She's probably having a cigarette or something. So who knows? She hasn't been paying attention. She's like, oh, they usually end around an hour 40. I got plenty of time. She's probably out just carousing around, having a cigarette. She still hasn't responded.
Oh, okay. All right. Go ahead and pull her back out. She's not sure.
Okay.
But okay. So you can help me understand this, especially somebody who's actually a college athlete.
I just read the
help me make. I mean, look, like loosely, but hey, you were there. How is the NCAA president just like an honorary position or something? Are they just like not actually do anything?
Well, it's a figurehead position already, and they were like, who's the best figurehead we can go to? Oh, a politician. Great. We'll just get a politician to do it because that's clearly the best figurehead you can possibly get. I mean, that's all they do anyway. Like, do you think that guy's actually the fucking governor of Massachusetts? Like, he doesn't actually make any decisions. He just fucking.
I was just saying, like, I get that as the governor of Massachusetts, 90% of your job is babysitting drunk Irish people. But, like, there has to actually be some work during the day for a governor, I would think.
I'm sure he has a mass workload.
So, but God damn it, I just missed that and it came back right.
Yeah, you did.
God damn
you did.
I can't.
I tried to hold it for as long as I could. I couldn't do it anymore.
I'm disappointed in myself and you for that joke. That was bad.
Yeah, I know, right?
Anyway, why is the president of college athletics, especially with everything that's going on with college athletics, because the NIL deals and the way that the college football playoff is changing and everything that's going on in college sports, like one would think the governing body of college sports, the president of that, should be there. Like that's their job. Like that would be like if Roger Goodell was also the vice president of the United States.
Yeah, like what the fuck is going on? Like, yes, I think that should be a consuming enough job that you can at least get 40 hours a fucking week out of it, right? Like, you would think being president of the NCAA with everything that's going on right now is probably more than a 40-hour a week job. And we got this. It's gotta be.
Because if it's not, I went into the wrong fucking career field. And I'm really pissed off about it right now.
I can be president of the NCAA for like part-time. Like what? Like what's my salary? And like
where is that on Indeed? Like where how did I miss that job application? Help me understand.
They're gonna kick me out. They're gonna be like, if there's NIL deals, and you know what, Tom, you should probably go home because you're 24 hours. Like, what the fuck? Like, no. Tom, you know what? We're about to get into the NIL thing. It's gonna take a long time. I don't know if Tom can be here any longer. I don't know. Like, no, he should fucking be there. Like, he's got to work until it's done. It doesn't make sense. He only has one job. Well, and in this case, this guy has two sets of jobs. Two sets?
Two sets of jobs.
Two sets.
Two massive responsibilities. Like
two sets, Tony.
The governor of the state of Massachusetts.
Yeah, there you
go. And the president of college athletics as a whole. I just really feel like that should be two separate guys. Or two separate people.
There should be Massachusetts of people, yes.
The Massachusetts of people. See, I got that.
Yes, two sets, okay. Yeah.
Like, Condoleezza Rice, she's actually been relatively active in sports behind the scenes in sports business. People haven't realized that. Which, by the way, Condoleezza Rice, great woman. But
Sexy
why not?
woman.
Why not? If we're gonna have a politician, somebody that needs to be, and I can get, especially as the head of college athletics for the United States, I can get the draw of a politician in that role. I'm not gonna knock that part of it. Put Condoleezza Rice there. She would be. I bet you she would be great. Like and like I legitimately mean that because she's a very intelligent person. She actually is involved in sports behind the scenes and different things. Why not?
And you want somebody who clearly handled her job before that in a very serious manner, handling a full-time position like this is probably going to be a very difficult job in the same manner, right? I mean, if she's going to handle it in the same manner if she handled her previous jobs, then fucking great start. Like, but she doesn't have another fucking job to do at the same time.
Exactly.
I think it says more about being the governor of Massachusetts, dude, than it does anything about anything else. I think it just says a lot about being a governor of a state. Like, I don't think you really have to do that much. Honestly, I think you have to show up and glad hand a lot of people and like basically just be like, yeah, absolutely, we're doing all that. And blah, blah, blah. Like, that's all you have. You're not even doing anything. Like, your people that work underneath you and like the rest of the people who are involved in that are really doing all the work.
The ones that are doing all the work.
And if all the rest of those people do a good job, then you get the credit for it. But if they do a shitty job, you get the fucking shit job. You know, like you get shit on for it.
You're at that point on the position poll where if you do great, you look great. And if they do great, you look great. But if they do like shit, it's you that looks like shit.
Yeah, and that in itself could be enough to like could be enough to justify paying those figurehead positions that much money and calling them like the governor of the state. Like, because that honestly is a lot of responsibility. Like, well, I don't think they do a whole lot of work, but I think they take on a lot on their shoulders. You know what I'm saying? Like, they take on a lot of like, oh shit, like we gotta like a whole state up. Like,
I mean, I don't know, because especially up in the Northeast, you're a lot more involved and close to the political circle, you know, because obviously, you know, Massachusetts is a lot closer to DC than Arizona. Right. You know, so, you know, being in your state, you're a lot more engaged in the political circle, that ring of fire, if you will. And, you know, but as a state governor, like outside of signing bills, the rest of the time, what are you doing? You're in meetings. You know, hey, we want to be able to do this. Well, we've got to create a committee to look at the cost. And so we've got to create a committee to figure out the cost of creating the committee. And it's all, you know, bureaucratic bullshit.
You guys in a month have a report on my desk that those 3 committees worked up, and I'll make a fucking assessment off of that one thing that my advisor told me to do right before this, because my advisor actually read this report of the 3 committees.
And I did not read that report.
I did not read the report because I don't get paid for that. I only have 21 hours a week, and you guys have used them all. So I'm just going to be here. And like, I don't know what is in here, but whatever's in here, I feel like you guys went over it with a fine tooth comb, and I feel like I can sign it now. Like, that's like, how is that like the last guy?
Like President Schwarzenegger in the Simpsons movie.
Yes, exactly. Like,
perfect explanation.
Yes, like how mad are the guys that just worked on that for 7 months when the guy comes in and is like, yeah, I don't even know what's in here. And like, this is the guy that we have to get to fucking okay it? Like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, it's a bunch of stuff. We've been working on it for 7 fucking months. And he's like, yeah, I don't really know what's in here. Am I supposed to sign it? And his advisor's like, yeah, you can sign it. He's like, that's what we had to get to? Why did I do this much work on this? Because this guy doesn't even know what the fuck is in it. Like, that's got to be infuriating to the people actually doing the work. Like,
well, I mean, look at how often, you know, people in the House and the Senate, not just on the national scale, but also for each state, vote on bills that they didn't even get time to read.
They don't know what it is.
They don't know the text of what's in the bill.
The only thing they know is, are the Republicans for it? Are the Democrats for it? Am I a Republican or a Democrat? That's what they know about it. And they vote on the side that dude, I had my grandmother, who was a smart woman, told me one time that she was not going to vote for Donald Trump, but she also wasn't going to vote on the other side because she didn't want to, because she wasn't a Democrat. She actually liked the Democratic candidate more. she wasn't going to vote for. She said that she voted every year, wasn't going to vote for Donald Trump, but she also wasn't going to vote for the other side, even though she'd like to do more because she's a Republican and that's what she's supposed to do. And I was like, whoa. I was like, that's what's happening, huh? Like that's what happens. Is like
that's so common now, and it's so fucking
in
mind-blowing how people can be like that. I don't get it.
How, dude? Like she clearly liked the fucking Democratic candidate more and was just like, no, like I'm just not gonna do it because I can't betray my Republican friend. Like what? Yeah, you can. Yes,
I would be so disappointed in myself if I ever strictly voted just party lines for anything.
Right? Like what?
Like I would feel like that's regression, not growth.
Dude, and I realized that a lot of people figure this out about themselves. Like, I didn't know when I was like 22, 23 years old if I was a Democrat or Republican. I didn't even really know what it meant. And like, I still don't really know if I'm a Democrat or Republican because I have value lines that go in both parties all the way
exactly.
through both of them.
Which is how it should be.
Yeah, like they just go through everything.
Oh my gosh.
And I have some deep right side stuff and some deep left side stuff. And I'm like, so like, why can I have these? And then I figured out that almost everybody's like that. Almost everybody has like fucking lines that go over into both parties. And like, there's no actual, it's all gray area. Mm-hmm. Like Democrats and Republicans should be called like 1-2% line on each side. And then everything else should be the gray party in between. Mm-hmm. And the gray party should actually get to decide shit. Cause like, that's who most people are. Is like, they're like, oh, well, I think
they spent, what's crazy is there's been so much money invested in exactly that not happening. You know, that there are so many states in the country where you can't run for a position if you're not running as Republican or Democrat.
Like, how is that?
If you get
you probably
the libertarian. Well, like you have to run under the party of Republican or Democrat, because if you run under anything else, like the Libertarian Party, the Green Party, are the two most other common parties in the country. Also, that there's actually a Veterans Party, I believe it's called. They can't get on the ballot for national positions because in a lot of states, if you aren't running as Republican or Democrat, a lot of states is an incorrect thing. In too many states, because even one is too many, if you're not running as Republican or Democrat, you can't earn your way onto the ballot.
Well, not or only you look can you not? It's like you're not going to win any votes if you don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, not only can you probably not in those states, which is way too many, obviously, because that's fucking kind of the fucking sense of democracy and the fucking republic that we live under is you're supposed to be able to just run as anything. But like, now you're just not going to get looked at. Like, people are going to go into a voting booth and go, oh, this guy's a libertarian. Like, not going to vote for you. If they don't know who you are, you're not going to vote for you.
Spike Cohen. And I'm not going into my own political point of view here, but something that I learned after the election, and I'll clarify it by that. Spike Cohen was running as Libertarian candidate in the last election. Spike Cohen was the governor of New Mexico at one point. While governor of New Mexico, he reduced taxes in the state and also created a program that was for people that were homeless or jobless, where you could show up and do work with the city for the day. And you got paid that day. And it was, $9-10 an hour. But back at that point, that was still, useful money.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you got access to showers. So you could, clean up, take care of yourself, and resources to help you, look at possibly, get documents so that could be a full-time job. They hire people out of that on a regular basis for those entry-level positions. And tax dollars went to this. And the state was successful. They reduced the tax rate in the state and created programs to help reduce joblessness.
Right.
But Spike Cohen did not get more than 3% of the vote.
Yeah.
And and was not even able to be on the ballot in every state, despite being the national candidate for the Libertarian Party.
Like,
that's crazy.
It's fixed. That's a fixed game.
That's crazy to think that somebody that was a state governor and actually did some great work by the information that I was able to find, but was not nationally known, was not invited to the debates
Fucking bonkers.
because he was not a Republican or Democrat.
Fucking bonkers.
That's crazy. It's
Because
crazy.
he wasn't able to bring himself to like fucking pigeonhole himself into like one of those parties. He was just like, I don't just act like I am. I don't call myself a Republican or a Democrat. There's no way I can like be like, well, I like these ones more than this one, so like I gotta like fucking make it black and white. It's not black and white. It's not.
Dude ran under a platform of pretty much, I want to leave you alone and let you keep more of your money, but couldn't get national traction because he wasn't a Republican or Democrat. Just mind blowing.
It's bonkers.
Mind blowing.
Like I don't know what else. Like what else are we gonna do with this? It's getting to the point where like if this continues to escalate, what's it gonna turn into?
It's ultimately, I think, party. And that's the thing, is it's ultimately what is going to lead to the destruction of our society, because one of the things that's being pushed is they're trying to make people forget that we are a constitutional republic and not a democracy intentionally. Because historically, democracies devolved into dictatorships because people constantly trade security for freedom. They get security, they give up freedom. That's what happens in a democracy.
Comfortability for freedom.
Right. And in a constitutional republic, it limits the powers of the government to do that. The people slowly, because they have forgotten that we are different than a democracy, we're not a democracy. They're giving away those powers and turning it into a democracy so that things continue to devolve into a dictatorship. And then the cycle starts over again. Because people don't want to accept history. They only want to accept what makes them feel better.
Yep. And comfortable. And to be comfortable. Because if you think about it, like to not deal with shit, like I do a lot of stuff to not deal with shit. But like at a very base level, though, I do understand that like I have to deal with shit sometimes to keep what I have, because they're just gonna take everything from you until it becomes like, oh well, you guys sit over there and watch your TV, and we'll just give you all the food and everything that you need, okay? But you don't actually get to make any decisions with anything that happens. Like you just basically get to sit there in whatever house we want you to sit in, with whatever TV we want you to have, with whatever things around you we want you to have in your house. But you still get to sit there and watch TV though. And then like you start getting like, oh well, you can't be in a couch anymore. You got to be in these chairs. And this chair is what we're gonna, and it becomes that kind of thing. Like, oh well, I'm still comfortable watching my TV though. Like until
it's all about control, man.
Until it's dwindled to a point where you're like sitting on the floor and you have a 13-inch TV with an antenna on top of it. You don't get any more channels. Then you go, oh fuck, like what the fuck just happened? Like they dwindled everything away from you while you were watching TV on the couch, and they just kept telling you that you were going to get less and less and less until now they have complete. And then by that point, it's too late. They got you. They got you. We're about at that point right now. We're about at that point right now where we need to either shift a different direction or they got us. That's about where we're at. It's gotten that bad.
People need to start thinking for themselves and not following the mob of misinformation, because there's both sides. And here's the thing. It's not just Democrats. It's not just Republicans.
No,
they're both doing it. It's just rich people controlling poor people. That's the truth.
Yes, 100%. That's the whole thing. And like, people are already thinking that one person can't make it. Like, I already believe that, like, yeah, I got all these great ideas, right? Like me and Tony, we got all these great ideas. We can't fucking change anything. I actually like believe that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like, that's the first fucking step that they take, is making.
They want you to,
could make a difference.
They want you to feel defeated.
Yeah. Who could make a difference, not want to make a difference, or not. Because what's the fucking point?
When I'm going to wrap up with my point on this, because it's Martha's birthday and she's going to beat the shit out of me if we don't stop soon.
We'll just pop.
I'm going to wrap up with this. If we don't start thinking for ourselves, they're going to start telling us. They're going to continue telling us what to think.
Yeah.
And if you think that the government controlling everything you do is great, go to China, go to Iran, or go to North Korea, go to
I'd say
Russia.
definitely China. I'd say definitely China's probably the best place to go. I feel like they're just like a little more tasteful with what they do as far as controlling everything that you do. But
it's China is so blatant at this point. It's fucking mind blowing.
oh yeah, they're
Parents
definitely
can go to
blatant.
jail if their child games more than an hour a week.
Yeah, dude. They have internet between like 8 and 10 p.m. every night, and then you just don't get any more internet. Like you don't get to be on the internet after that. Like that's like and like most of it needs to be committed to like doing schoolwork and stuff.
And
Like
the way that social media works in China is, by how well you are, your behaviors are favorable to the dictator regime in China, like pro government stuff. You can boost your social status on social media platforms in China by watching pro government propaganda.
bro, you know how good we would be at that if we just like figured that out. We're like, yeah, go Deng Xiaoping, and we'd be like, hey man, we got a bunch of viewers now. Like, but then they'd probably just kill us after watching one of our shows. But
Right.
they'd be like, oh, what were you doing back in America? I'd be like, nothing.
Nothing. I was not thinking for myself. I promise.
Nothing.
Oh, holy
Will?
shit! Will Morgan, he exists.
I told you he popped on.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, I'm a real thing. How you guys doing tonight?
what's up, buddy?
I just got something I want to get off my chest real quick.
I love it.
Let it go.
And it bothered me this week. And I heard you guys on my way home talking about it earlier. This whole thing with Skip and Shannon.
Yeah.
Skip took that way too far.
And that was my question with it, man. That's how I kind of felt about it. Like, I get that it's TV, but I think he kind of went too far.
He did. I think he did. And I don't think it was an act. I really don't think it's an act, because the one thing about Skip, the one thing that you have to say about him, ever since you saw him on First Take and Cold Pizza, when he's passionate about a situation, like he was with Tim Tebow, he'll put Tim Tebow damn well over LeBron in terms of popularity back in those days. So when he gets passionate about something, he really means that stuff. And I don't think it was an act.
Same with Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, Johnny Manziel too. I don't think it was an act on Skip's part at all. I really think he felt like that. I think that was just way too far.
You could almost tell the exact moment when Shannon was actually switched over from being like, oh, this show's going to get a lot of views, into, motherfucker, you're this is disrespectful to me personally at this point. Like, you're just being disrespectful personally. You could almost tell in the episode.
When you're arguing with an older guy, any older guy, regardless of race, if they take off their glasses,
they're serious.
You are about to learn one way or another, whether it's because his foot is up your ass or he's about to hit you with some knowledge you didn't expect. You about to learn.
Amen.
That's taking off glasses when you pissed off and arguing. That's the international symbol for you gonna learn today.
Amen.
Will, I don't know if you heard, but like, would you be interested I would obviously be interested to see like what happened after that show. You know what I'm saying? Like, what happened with those guys, like, personally after that show was
probably nothing. I interviewed someone who used to work in that studio, and he was telling me those are two, like, once the show is done, or they go on breaks and things like that, they're just they're quiet. They're really quiet guys. But on set, on screen, that's what you get. But off screen, they're two quiet guys that don't cause a lot of commotion, from what I understand.
That's what I heard. But like, do you think that they had a conversation about that after?
Shannon might have. If I was Shannon, I would have said something. If I was Shannon, I really would have. After that camera went off, I would wait till after the show got skipped in the back. Hey, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he almost had.
Yeah. How could you? And I don't think anybody would blame him for it. Like, that's the thing, is even it came out, oh, Shannon was yelling at Skip after that. Yeah.
Yeah. I would have yelled too. I definitely would have yelled.
I didn't blame Shannon for getting pissed off at that. I couldn't.
You can. Plus, another thing that gets me is 2 different positions. So you sit behind the offensive line. If you got a good offensive line that Tom Brady had, particularly with the Patriots, you hardly being touched. Here's Shannon running routes, blocking. I think he played special teams for a time.
He did. That's where he got his start with special teams.
Yeah, and he's getting hit 24/7 versus Brady not really being touched most of the time. So it's a totally different positions.
That's kind of you actually kind of just like said what I was trying to say earlier, and I couldn't really get it cornered in. Is like Shannon doesn't respect Tom Brady as much, or doesn't like put so much praise on Tom Brady because he knows what football is like. You know what I'm saying? Like he knows what position like he played and what Tom Brady actually has to do. Right. And like he knows that like Tom Brady's position has rocketed him to being the GOAT of all football players. Like that's why I always say like Tom Brady is the GOAT of quarterbacks. Tom Brady's the GOAT of quarterbacks. I am not going to sit here and say that Tom Brady is the best football player I've ever seen in my fucking life. That's not, I don't even think that's a fucking, Tom Brady's not even close to the best athlete.
No.
At all. Like there's because of his position and because it is a position of importance in the NFL, obviously at this point, it's even more. Right. But Shannon's just basically sitting there saying like, hey, like I played an actual position in football. Like you're playing something that is like so glorified. And so like, and you don't, like you said, well, you don't ever get touched and shit. Like he's just saying like, you're not even a football player. Like you are a football player, obviously, Tom, you've taken hits, blah, blah, but like, you don't do the dirty work that these guys underneath the scenes do. Like your line does, your linebackers do, everybody. Like that's the biggest,
that's the biggest.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. It is Martha's birthday. I got to get out of here. I'm probably already in trouble.
Happy birthday, Martha.
Happy birthday.
I appreciate you guys dropping it. Will, thank you for doing the run-in. You didn't have a steel chair, so I'm a little offended, but I'll take it.
Yes. Just hit the camera with the steel chair.
Hit the camera.
I think Erica went to smoke, so
she did.
Will, could you
Thank
take
you,
us
Erica.
out?
Yeah, I'll take it out.
For those of you that are watching after the fact, and for those of you catching us on Spotify and YouTube after, we appreciate you. Please like and share our content. We want to be able to engage with you, but we got to know that you're there. We see people watching. We see people, being interested, but we don't talk to anybody, and we're getting sick of talking to each other. So please like and share our content. Dan and I will be back with After Dark in 2023. But we will see you Monday night on the Sports Report, 10 p.m. Eastern on this channel. If you're seeing us, you will see the Sports Report. We'll see you next week right here on Sports Report After Dark.
Later,
love you guys.
Later, everybody.
I was talking to Will and Tony, not all you fans. I don't really even know you guys. Like I want to love you, but I don't really know you. It's like I don't really love you that much, honestly, because that would be weird.
All right,
that would be weird.
Spreading a lot of love, different areas.
It's a nice swing, cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. Better see with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still